Yeah, we are in a very interesting season, especially in Cameroon. And this is a message to parents, it's a message to benefactors who are seeking to enroll kids into tertiary education. And a lot of parents do not even understand, and even educatees or people's intending to enroll in tertiary education do not understand what stage that is with respect to the educational journey. And tertiary education, after going through advanced level or any similitude of that in across Africa, is basically supposed to be focused on occupational learning. Occupational learning simply means learning to be able to acquire an occupation and to align yourself as part of the workforce of under a specific industry. So in case you understand these dictates, then aligning yourself under the workforce of a specific industry means aligning yourself under the workforce of a specific industry, not aligning yourself with historians in the university claiming to be professors to teach you something they themselves have never had a wing on. And so, for example, if I'm going to pick up on a field here in medical technology, it's still egregious to have parents enrolling children in universities in Africa or Cameroon to study biomedical science or medical technology, while you have Siemens, Johnson & Johnson's, ET International, actually as accreditation or certification bodies for medical technology work contracts in the industry. And then you wonder why the child doesn't have a job tomorrow, because basically that was bifurcated in from learning. You cannot abandon the industry, and Toyota can make cars, and then somewhere located in a little cave in Africa, you sit up and you come up with a curriculum about cars made by Toyota, and Toyota doesn't know anything about you. And then you send children to that to go as graduate as automobile engineers, whatever that is, and then you expect them to get work from the industry. The industry has its own school, and they have their own products for their own school. Nobody makes their products for you to own their schools. So parents should be forewarned. Parents should be on the guard, sending children. What is your priority? What is your prerogative? What is your intention? What is your focus when your child has graduated out of high school and is supposed to align themselves with the workforce? There are fundamental questions to ask to help you understand this very well. The first question is, what industry would you be studying with? What industry would you take your learning? Would you take up your learning with? What industry fundamentally would you be training with? And if you can answer that question, then you are not practicing education. You are basically practicing something like witchcraft or something, because we are talking about a continent that is already at the record level of low, ocean floor low in terms of economic development, and parents still afford to basically desecrate the law, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 26, Part 2, that says or states or posits that education shall be directed to the full development of the human personality. Development can only come from what is already developed. Education shall, not may, be directed to development of the full, to be directed to the full development of the human personality. It's only developmental isms, developmental entities, institutions that can carry about training that is supposed to lead to development, because they themselves are developed. It's only Microsoft and those in similitude and multinationals that can conduct training in, let's say, data science. You can't be in a university, I'm studying data science, data engineering, I'm doing computer engineering. What is this computer engineering going across Africa? Simplificated across the whole place, methodicized across the entire continent. What is this? What are these things? If you look at the computer industry ecosystem, you need to ask yourself, does the computer industry ecosystem require that? What is the prerogative? What is the objective when I enroll my child in tertiary education? When the child has basically turned their focus towards getting learning after high school, what is the objective? The objective is independence. Independence cannot be achieved from institutions that are basically usurping industries. You cannot learn medical technology from a usurper. You need accredited certification bodies to carry out industry education with purveyors, with implementers that understand the international law on education, especially at the level of tertiary education in this regard. Parents should cease and desist from this attitude of from this nonchalant attitude. They should kibosh this nonchalant attitude of treating education that is supposed to provide means for a child by sending them to clandestine usurpations that called education, and especially what you have called the university in African countries. I do not understand that. You do not have any obligation to send your child to such institutions, because these institutions are outlawish in nature. They do not represent the industry. They are very hypothetical, donnish, are not expected to produce any results, and you still think that a first and second and third degree of stupidity should be compared with Microsoft. For example, if a kid is interested in becoming a data scientist, you send the child to a university. Is a university a data company? Do they have an econometric analysis that supports that decision? Are they in production in data? Are they in distributing services? Are people consuming products or services coming from them in data? Is there any economic dispensation around that decision? Microsoft Azure is worth about 75 billion US dollars as one of the leading tech companies in the IT industry ecosystem. That part of their market, of their business, is worth that. They own the education from that platform, Azure Fundamentals, Azure Data Fundamentals, AI Fundamentals, Data Scientists. And when your child is in the university, what are they doing there? When your child is in the university, what are they doing over there? So it is strange to see that these are things that are consistent with the African society. It is not corruption that is the issue with Africa. It is totally disoriented, bifurcated education. And benefactors are consistently promulgating education that raises to a bad end. Parents have the prior right to choose proper education for children, education that is focused on productivity. And I will end that with this series of hints and questions that you could ask again yourself to reiterate on what kind of education a child should have when they are tilted, when they are focused towards making money, towards productivity. First question, the source. Who is offering this type of education? Are they making money? Are they in a production cycle? You cannot send something to produce when they are not. You cannot send your kid to be mentored by an institution, by a usurpation that does not produce to produce amidst multinationals that produce. I've given you the Microsoft situation. Another one is the medical technology or medicine, the entire healthcare industry ecosystem. Well, parents want children to be medical doctors and nurses. There is already a frustrated overcrowding in those areas in curative healthcare. And what is the problem with healthcare in Africa? The absence of technology, because the whole personnel issue is an age-old issue. Instead of focusing on what the healthcare industry needs, you focus about what you like. I have parents choosing. We got parents in Africa and across the rest of the world choosing what the kids will study, what your children will study based on their likes. I want to be a nurse. I want to be a medical doctor. What you want is not important. Now, when you make money, you could go buy your wants. What the industry wants, the industry is the frontliner serving the society's needs. Nobody's going to pay you for your wants. Nobody's going to pay you for your passion. People pay you for meeting their needs. And parents should learn to choose entities that meet the needs of societies, to train their children and license them to continue in that money, in that value production money process. Because without the production of absolute value, there is no money process. You send kids to universities, do they make the cars? Do they make the phones? Do they make the pots? Do they make the utensils? Do they make the furniture that is in the society? So you want to be on guard regarding that. You want to be on your guard in that regard as a parent. You want to ask that question about the source. The next question you want to ask is that a certified source? Is that a certified source? The question of the source is very easy, because if the source of education is not making money, your child is broke for life. And if you're doing that out of pride, then it's foolish pride. The other thing I just mentioned is about certification. There is standardization in education. This genderness, this witchery curriculum that is going on across Africa. You just get up, you just put up a signpost, and you put a couple of things, and they ask you, so you got a government authorization. The government is a custodian of the law, and the law on education nominates the purveyor, the provider of education, as industry, nominates the provider of education as a value producer. And so you got to understand that choosing the wrong kind of education is very impactful in the future with respect to the socioeconomic and financial status of the child. And make sure that you get proper educational counseling before you choose education for children. Make sure you get proper educational counseling, because if you don't get that, if you go into the stereotypes of randomly choosing stupid things and claiming you care about the future of your family, the future of your children, then that is so very discombobulating. That is so ambiguous, and you're going to reap it. Africa is already reaping it hard with these choices of substandard education. My encouragement is this season, parents should choose industry, choose value, choose to get education from authentic sources. You could go through our page in Basic Education Group. You're going to see an example of that. We have a lot of information we've put out there at the Basic Education Group page. You could also contact us or refer somebody to us to get the proper orientation about education, industry-specific education. We are doing presentation with multiple partners across the world. We're a certification administrator for international exams, medical technology with ET International. We are the leading organization when it comes to reviewing global education according to the law, and also a major implementer. So make sure that you make these considerations as a parent. And if you're listening to me as a beneficiary, you make sure that you get your parents come across the proper information. You can get in touch with us, and we're going to be able, we're going to participate to get that going for you. So I encourage you to choose correctly. I encourage you to be part of your own development and the development of the rest of the world. Thank you.